Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and obviously I'm traveling on the road today, but I obviously still want to bring you the news. And so here's what's going on. I got my notes on this. This is an interesting one, and I hope this actually goes through. This is what's up. Congress apparently may actually ban TikTok. That's right, the app that I've been talking about for quite some time. There may be an act of Congress, a bipartisan act of Congress that shuts it down. Now, there's a million different sources talking about this in the last 24 hours or so. I am cribbing from Reuters, who tends to be pretty fair and balanced and always factual. So with that, let's dive in because I think this is actually really important. Here's what's going on. Republican Senator Marco Rubio yesterday on Tuesday announced bipartisan legislation to ban TikTok. Obviously, TikTok owned by ByteDance Beijing, very popular out of China. This is what I've been talking about for quite some time. Now, this is ratcheting up pressure, though, on ByteDance and basically amid U.S. fears that the app could be used to spy on Americans and censor content. And I have talked about all of this before. The privacy issues with this, the Chinese laws from the Communist Party that give them access to this, the essentially reverse engineering and research that have been done by legitimate cybersecurity researchers, both independent and outfits on this. This essentially is a huge body of evidence that is essentially backing this up. Now, the legislation would block all transactions from any social media company in or under the influence of China and Russia. And Rubio's office, mentioning this in a press release, also said that a companion bill in the U.S. House of Representatives was sponsored by Mike Gallagher, Congressman, Republican, and Raja Krishnamurthy, a Democrat out of Illinois. And Congressman Krishnamurthy, for the record, is also my sponsor every time I'm a judge in the Congressional App Challenge judge that I do every year and have been for the last few years. And full disclosure, I've already reached out to the congressman to get him on my radio show, so you may be seeing my interview with him here on my YouTube channel and also on my SoundCloud channel as well, not just my radio show. Now, this bill comes as scrutiny of TikTok has been starting to grow in Washington in recent weeks after there was a failed bid by the Trump administration to actually ban this app. And we're going to talk about that too, because it was a valiant effort and I agreed with the Trump administration. But here's what's going on now. At a hearing last month, FBI Director Christopher Wray said that TikTok's U.S. operations raised national security concerns, flagging the risk that the Chinese government could harness it to influence users or control their devices. I actually did a daily video podcast and talked about that on my radio show as well. I've always been keeping you up to date on privacy news and cybersecurity news, and here we go. But states have started to ban it because Alabama and Utah this past Monday started joining other U.S. states, and I did a video on that last week, that are now prohibiting the use of TikTok on state-owned government devices and computer networks due to national security concerns. Meaning, if you're that government employee in Alabama or Utah or any one of the other states, and there's now been a plethora of states, I mentioned that in my last video on this, you basically cannot use TikTok at all. I'm a big fan of that. So with that, let's backtrack a little bit and talk about the initial 2020 attempt by the Trump administration, which I mentioned I supported. They took a different approach than what the Biden administration is doing, because the Biden administration is not doing this. But here's what happened back in 2020. Then President Trump basically attempted to block new users from downloading TikTok and ban other transactions that would have effectively blocked the app in the United States. But they unfortunately lost a series of court battles over this. The U.S. government's Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, are also known as CFIUS. Basically, they are in the national security body. In 2020, ordered ByteDance to divest TikTok because of fears that U.S. user data could be passed on to China's communist government. CFIUS and TikTok had been in talks for months trying to reach a national security agreement to protect the data of TikTok's, at the time, 100+ million users here in the United States. If you recall, Microsoft was very interested in purchasing TikTok. Microsoft also owns LinkedIn, but they don't have a Facebook or a Twitter, if you will. This would have been that, and TikTok obviously continues to grow in popularity despite all of these concerns. So this time around, it's not the Biden administration that is following in the footsteps of the Trump administration. This would be an act of Congress, which probably should be, and to be completely fair, wasn't really available to the Trump administration in 2020, since they were in constant opposition over absolutely everything. Understand that, Trump being a Republican, he's a Republican president, president, you've got a Democrat House, a Democrat Senate. They were always at loggerheads with these kinds of things. Obviously, this time around, we've got a right now and until the new session starts next year, we've got a Democrat-controlled House, Democrat-controlled Senate, and a Democrat president. But in this case, we know that President Biden would sign into law, just as President Trump would have signed into law if Congress is able to enact this. And so here we are. An act of Congress basically means it's law. We don't have to go to a governing body like a CFIUS to get this done. They make the law of the land in the same way that they just basically signed a bill that accepts gay marriage as the law of the land as well. So here we are. We're going to see where this goes. I'm in full support of this. As you know, I have talked about this constantly over and over and over and over till I'm basically sick of having to talk or deal with TikTok. But hopefully we'll finally get this over the hump, and it's bipartisan, which I absolutely love to see. So Senator Marco Rubio, Republican, Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, Democrat, coming together. And when we're all together in agreement that this is a very serious issue, I really hope that the general public really starts to pay attention, because I am honestly tired of pounding this into all of you. But that is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, but never on TikTok. I don't have a TikTok account. Same with YouTube. I do have a YouTube account, so please feel free to subscribe to me there. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everybody.